are certain moments in your life that just change everything. For me, that day is burned into my memory. It was the moment that set me on a path I never, ever could have imagined. This is my story. It's about how I found my way out of complete darkness and into a place of, well, strength. So picture this. I'm sitting in my mid-year math exam, a totally normal day, but I look down at the paper and the words just weren't there. It was all a blur. My eyes started watering and tears just started streaming down my face. I kept whispering to myself, Chespi, come on, you can do this, you're just tired. But deep down I knew it wasn't true. I was just so confused and honestly, I felt completely defeated.
You know, we all have these plans, right? These big dreams for the future. We think we've got it all mapped out. But what happens when your entire world gets flipped upside down in a single instant? I mean, literally, in the space of one morning. Well, that's exactly where my story begins. So let's go back to that day in 2007, during that math exam. One moment, I'm just a normal student, stressing about equations like everyone else. And the next, bam, I'm staring at a page of blurry lines. I couldn't make out a single word. The shock. I don't even have words for it. And to make it all worse, the exam proctor, oh man, she was a teacher that everyone was scared of. So I was just frozen, absolutely terrified to call her over. What would I even say? So with my heart just pounding in my chest, I did the only thing I could think of. I blindly scribbled a note on the exam paper for my math teacher, my one hope. I wrote, I cannot see, not sure what is going on. And for the rest of the exam, I just pretended to write. After that day, everything was a whirlwind. It was just a rush of doctors and hospital visits. And then the diagnosis came, severe cataracts in both eyes. They scheduled surgery for December 4th, but it didn't work. In fact, it actually made the vision in my right eye even worse. My life had just taken this terrifying new turn. Honestly, it felt like my world had ended. Just over. All my goals, all my dreams for the future, they were just shattered. I gave up. On school, on everything. I had no idea how to cope. And I started having suicidal thoughts. I've never felt so completely alone. The change was just unbelievable. Before this, I was a top 10 student. After, I was dead last on the results list. Before, I had an active social life. I was in all the school groups. After, I was totally isolated. And the bullying began. The other students, they could be so cruel. I'd hear them mocking me, saying things like, oh, she's just coming to school for the food. They even called me Say Jericho, which is a reference to the blind man in the Bible. Every single word was just a painful, constant reminder of what I had lost.
And just when I thought things couldn't possibly get any worse, a group of officials from the Education Council showed up at my school. They held a meeting to decide my future. And you know what? They never even asked for my voice. I mean, can you even imagine that? I spent a whole year struggling to get to school every day, literally bumping into poles and trees, just so I could be there. And then these people tell me I shouldn't write my junior certificate exams because I might fail. The sense of betrayal, it was just overwhelming. But you know what? In that moment of despair, something just snapped inside me. I was done feeling helpless. I looked at that group of adults who were deciding my fate for me, and I told them with everything I had that I would write my final examinations and I would pass. It wasn't easy. It took a whole week of fighting and debating, but they finally agreed. They got a scribe for me, I took my exams, and I passed. I got a second-class pass. It felt like the biggest victory of my life. I had won the right to continue my education. That victory got me into high school, and that was a whole new world. It was a boarding school, which meant I basically had to relearn how to live, how to navigate my surroundings, how to study, how to do everything. It was a lot. My path to independence really came down to a few huge steps. First, mastering the white cane, which was tough. I constantly felt like everyone was staring. Then, learning Braille from scratch. Oh, that was so difficult. I had to take extra lessons every single evening. But I'll never forget the first time I read a whole sentence by myself. Wow, that feeling was just pure triumph. And all that hard work, it really started to pay off. I wasn't just surviving anymore, I was excelling. I became the best student in my class 2 years in a row, the best in orientation and mobility, and I just kept earning awards all through my academic career, both back home in Botswana and later in Canada. In 2013, I decided to take this massive leap of faith. I used all of my savings to have a surgery in Canada. And it worked. I actually regained some of my vision. For the first time in years, I could enjoy simple things again, like going swimming or just being out in the world. It felt like my prayers had finally been answered. But then, during my final year of university in 2018, crisis struck again. I was diagnosed with a severe condition in my seeing eye. The pain was just unbearable. The doctor told me they had run out of options, that the eye had to be removed. I couldn't do it. I wasn't emotionally ready to go through that. I fell back into that deep, dark depression. I stopped going to school, I disconnected my phones, I just locked myself in my room. I bought sleeping pills and I tried to end my life. I just felt like I had absolutely nothing left. Thankfully, my academic advisor noticed I was gone. She intervened and she got me the help I so desperately needed. But even after hitting that absolute rock bottom, I didn't give up. I got help, I pushed through, and I managed to graduate from Carleton University with flying colors. Today, I have a career I'm so proud of. I discovered a strength inside myself that I never, ever knew I had. Through therapy, I learned probably the single most important lesson of my life, self-acceptance. It really is the key that unlocks healing. And it doesn't mean you're giving up. It just means you're giving yourself permission to go through the entire process, no matter how painful it is. My whole journey really led me to this one fundamental truth. And it's a phrase you've probably heard before, but for me, I've lived it. Disability is not inability. My condition doesn't define what I can do, what I can achieve, or how full a life I can live. So why does this all matter to you? My hope is that whatever challenges you might be facing, my journey can be a source of comfort for you. A little reminder that you too can overcome adversity and come out stronger on the other side, shining like a diamond. And that brings me to a final question, one for all of us to really think about. My story is personal, yeah, but its message is universal. How can we, as a society, create a more welcoming world for everyone, regardless of their abilities? So let's end on this thought. It's simple, but it's a powerful call to action. Don't just tolerate differences, celebrate them. Let inclusion be your guide. Yes, make it your pride. Thank you so much for listening.